Hello out there, ePipers. This is Matt Wellman from ePipeMods. It's been a while since I've done a video, but a lot has changed in the industry over the last couple of years, and I haven't put out a instruction manual on my pipes in quite a while, and with all of the new gadgets that are out there, I figured I'd do this to kind of give a new look at them with combining them with the new stuff that's out there. So anyway, to set up your pipe when you get it, what you're going to want to do, you need most of our pipes take an 18350. There are some 18650 pipes. You're going to want your 18350 flat top battery. The new pipes after February 2018 can take a flat top or a button top battery. Okay. Pipes before February 2018 are not going to be able to do that. It has to do with the battery height and the way the switch works. Anyway, you take a 18350 flat top IMR battery. This is your vape safe. That's the positive end of your battery. That's the negative end of your battery. You put the vape safe on the positive end of your battery. So that's the magnet side to the positive end, and then slide the battery into the pipe bowl. So it's going to look like that. Now, if the battery height is above the ring in the side of the bowl, it's not going to fire. So if you have a button top that raises the height of the battery by a couple millimeters, and it can go above the ring, it won't fire if it's that way. So just be aware that the battery needs to be just below the ring. If it's too far down, it could auto fire. If your pipe auto fires, don't use that battery. It's not going to work. This has to do with battery tolerances. I used eFest batteries when I make these pipes, so you can be pretty much guaranteed an eFest battery is going to work in your pipe. If they're not available on the site, I'm working on getting them on the site. If we're out of stock, they should be put back into stock soon. But yeah, so that's how you load the battery, and then you've got your button, your switch, looks like this, and there are dome switches and flat switches. So this part of the switch is not what you press. That's actually what goes down into the bowl, right? So you put the switch down in the bowl like that, and you depress the button like that. If you put the switch in this way on the battery, and it looks like that, and you're pressing on the magnet in the center, that's wrong. It's not going to work. So make sure that your battery basically goes in to the bowl looking like that, into the bowl. Okay. Now from there, you have a lot of options. There's a thing called a bell cone. Then you have different colored bell cones, different flare cones. These used to be fairly readily available. As a matter of fact, they used to come free with most tanks and atomizers. Lately, with the new 22 millimeter stuff, they're becoming more and more rare. Again, I'm going to try and keep these loaded on the site. If they're not on the site, check back with us, and I will work on getting them back in stock. So depending on what atomizer you're going to want to use, if it's a 22 millimeter, like a big fat atomizer like that, you're going to want a big fat bell cone like that if you want to cover the cone threads. Now you can take an atomizer like this and just screw it on there without the bell cone, and it'll work. So put your atomizer or tank or whatever on the pipe just like that, and it's going to work. It's fine. But if you want to dress it out and cover these threads and flare it out to 22 millimeter, you can put the cone on like that, and then thread your atomizer on like that, and it kind of dresses it out for you. Makes it look a little nicer. Then from there, you can take a stem like this and stick it on there. You got a nice shorty little pipe, or a lot of you guys like the Church Warden super long Gandalf. Now, in order for this to work, there are some new atomizers that have a really big bore, a really wide bore atomizer. This is a standard hole. for most atomizers have this size hole, and this is a tapered fit stem. So this will fit, these stems will fit most atomizers, but not all of them. If it has a super wide bore, it's not going to work. So bell cone or straight cone, atomizer, and a stem, and you can decide what atomizer and everything you want to put on. Now I do want to talk a little bit about atomizers because there's a lot of different options out there. I personally, this is a new 18650 pipe with the Zen tube in it, so it's not like the 350, but this is the atomizer I personally use. It's a Kanger sub tank. It's probably three or 4 years old. It's an old model. It has a rebuildable deck on the inside, so you make your own coils. It's not a disposable coil where you buy the replacement coils and just drop a new coil in there. Now the reason I do that, the reason I started doing that to begin with is it's cheaper. It's fairly easy to wind your own coil, and you can adjust your power setting by the amount of wraps and how many ohms your coil is. It's very important with our pipes not to go below 1 ohm. An 18350 battery just cannot handle the amp draw of more than 1 ohm. And further, you can go below 1 ohm with our pipes if you want to by bypassing the vape safe. But for a couple reasons I don't recommend it. The switch really can't handle much below like 0.7. And because it's a mechanical device, it's just not a good idea. And batteries in general, unless it's regulated, shouldn't be dropped that low. It's not a good idea. And you end up consuming a lot more e-liquid. At 1 ohm, you get plenty of vapor. It's satisfying vape, good flavor. As a matter of fact, with pipe smoking, back in the day, they came out with a calabash style pipe. That's the Sherlock pipe. And one of the things they did to enhance flavor was cool the smoke. A cooler smoke gave you better flavor out of a traditional pipe, a traditional smoke pipe. So a calabash style pipe had this big open chamber inside the pipe. And when you draw the smoke in, it would linger inside this chamber and cool before it went into your mouth. A lower ohm, a 1 ohm, like I said, it'll give you plenty of a cloud. You get plenty of big cloud. Like this is 1 ohm right here. It's a longer draw. It's not like a quick rip, but this is a slow vape. It's a nice, relaxing thing. It's not, you're in a hurry. I know it's the American way to go to all extremes, but that's not what the pipes are for. Relax when you vape. So 1 ohm will give you a nice, cool, flavorful vape. It may take some time to get used to. If you're used to a big cloud and hot vape, and that's what you're after, you're probably not going to be satisfied with the vapor production from our pipes. They're just not made for that. And I'm not going to make regulated pipes. I have tried it. I have failed. It's not my bag, so it's just not going to happen. So regulate your power, buy your ohms. Wrap a coil at 1 ohm, do your own cotton changes. It's a lot cheaper. It'll actually save you a lot of money on e-liquid because you're not consuming as much e-liquid blowing these huge clouds. So let's talk about atomizers and what atomizers are like that. You got the Kanger sub tank. I believe the Nautilus. This does have reusable coils. I believe these are still available. You can get like 1.5, 1.8 replaceable coils. It works pretty good. There are a lot of different tanks out there with rebuildable decks, and you can use those, but I do recommend 1 coil, not any of this, octo coil, Clapton, all that crazy stuff. All you need is 1 coil at 1 ohm, and you get plenty of good flavor and good vapor. There's no reason to go crazy with it. Kanger Pro Tank Minis, I don't know if these are still available, but they work pretty good. You can do an internet search on some of this stuff. There used to be EVOD and Ego stuff. That might still be out there. These atomizers that aren't tanks, they're just straight atomizers. You can build a 1 ohm coil on those. There's a lot of different cool looking pieces out there. When you put these on the pipes, you can change the look of a pipe drastically and get kind of creative with how your pipe's set up and how it appears. So now you got something like that. And then some of the older stuff you might be able to find in vaping classifieds. at 14 millimeters, there's a lot of really cool, like the Kanger, or not Kanger, the K-Fun Mini. So this is a tank that's like super long, 14 millimeter, and this is what you would need this type of cone for, right? So you screw that on. If you can find these 14 millimeter tanks and atomizers, they're really pretty cool. And they look really nice on the pipes too. It might be a bit of a search to find them. I'm sorry I don't have them on the site. A lot of these are custom makers and they don't really do wholesale. And a lot of the 14 millimeter stuff, it can be harder to find right now. And I make pipes. I don't keep and sell atomizers. I tried it for a while, and it's just not something we do anymore. Too many people sell them, and the trends change constantly, and it's too hard for me to keep up with. So, but you've got stuff like this. You see these in the pictures. It's got a built-in skirt, so when it goes on there, it looks like that. And this is another replaceable coil tank. So Kanger sub tank, the Nautilus, 14 millimeter, 20 millimeter. Most important thing I can tell you is the ohms. Make sure you have something with 1 ohm, whether it be a replaceable coil, 1 ohm or higher, whether it be a replaceable coil or a build-it-yourself coil. I'd really recommend the build-it-yourself coils. Again, it's cheaper. It's a little more work, but hey, a pipe is a little more work than a cigarette, right? I mean, it's part of the ritual of sitting down and relaxing and smoking a pipe. You got to put it all together, and it makes it more fun. Like I said, you got a lot of different options of different tanks you can use, different looks, different ways to dress up your pipe. But that's it. That's basically it. It's a fairly universal device. Most atomizers do have a 510 thread. I will say though that with all the regulated devices out there and the push to consume more and more liquid, the regulated powered mods to blow bigger and bigger clouds, they suck up a lot of juice, and they have very, very low ohm coils in order to do that. So you have to be careful if you go to a vape shop or something like that. You want a rebuildable deck or a 1 ohm and above coil. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the instruction manual on the pipes. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it helps. Really, if you look on classifieds and the vape forums and stuff like that, you can find all kinds of cool rebuildable devices at 14 millimeter and the old school stuff that really works well. A lot of this stuff really works well. You don't need all the buttons and the switches and the digital screens and all of that. You just need a 1 ohm coil and a mechanical mod, and you're good to go. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around.